Find out who our first guest of the evening is. Can I hand you over to our wonderful MC for the night, Miss Eleanor Tiernan?
Thanks, Tom. Your guest is Roger Daltrey.
Oh my goodness. Well, hello.
Hey, Tommy, how are you?
Very well, very well.
Good to see you.
So the last time I saw you would have been the Teenage Cancer Trust in the Royal Albert Hall.
Yeah, you were there for me that night.
Yeah, it was great.
It was wonderful.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Shepherd's Bush.
Oh, so you're a London boy?
Good Irish area of London.
Yeah.
Yeah, a London boy.
And what did your parents do?
Well, my mother was she just was at home. My mother had polio. She was one of the first people in England to have an iron lung. And she was told she'd never have children. But of course, my dad came along and took up the challenge.
Did you see it like that?
Here I am. But he was the manager of Shanks warehouse in Acton in London.
Yeah.
And we were just a working class family, as it was post-war. I was born in an air raid. I was born with the V2s coming down. The end of the V1s and the V2s coming down.
What year?
That was 1944. So
you look.
I know how bad life can get.
You look. So you're in your late 70s.
I'm 77. Yeah. But I'm a singer and I'm a farmer and I didn't do drugs, so I got lucky.
Jesus, you look amazing. That's,
I'm doing all right. I'm
startling.
I'm blessed.
Yeah. So you would have. How would you have described that part of London in the late 40s and early 50s when you were coming to consciousness?
Well, it's hard to kind of for people in today's world. It's kind of hard to imagine it because we had incredibly little food. I mean, 1945 was the worst year of the whole war, 45, 46, for food, because we had to share the rations, the meagre rations that we had with the Germans, because they had even less. And, we were just getting the roofs and the windows put back on the houses. Every house had 3 or 4 families in it because housing was so short. There were bomb sites everywhere, which were, looked terrible in today's eyes, but to us as children, it was the best playground you could ever have.
So do you look back on that time and you're able to describe it in one way that it was tough, but another way was a complete freedom?
Well, today's world would say we were very poor.
Yeah.
And I say, but no, we were incredibly rich because we had incredible community. We were very, very wealthy. We were very wealthy. We were more wealthy than we are today because we had incredible community. And the material things, you think they're going to solve your problems and they're going to bring you this and that when you buy them. But in the end, it's only the people that are around you that really bring that thing that makes humanity so wonderful.
And so coming from that kind of working class area, was there a pressure on you to get a practical job? Like, were you hitting 13 and 14 and feeling...
I got kicked out of school on my 15th birthday. I was a bit of a rebel. I always was a rebel. They were never teaching me anything I could kind of relate to in my out-of-school life. I wasn't thick. I wasn't stupid. I just wanted to be a singer. I always wanted to be a singer. I sang in the church choir. But that was the last thing on their career. When they went into music lessons, they were showing us dots on pieces of paper.
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense in the way my brain worked. Yeah. When you talk about music to me, it's making the noises. It's singing, it's playing a guitar. So I got very frustrated at school and I ended up causing all kinds of havoc. And I was an unruly part of the class. So I probably interfered with quite a few people's education. And I got thrown out on my 15th birthday.
Well, can you remember what they said to you?
I can exactly remember what... No, my headmaster, after he gave me 6 of the best on my bare behind with a cane. Oh boy, you never forget that, I'll tell you. As I was leaving his office, And, because you put the front on, that didn't hurt, lying.
Yeah.
And as I was leaving, he said, "You'll never make anything of your life, Daltrey." And I just thought, yeah, I'll show you. and I thank him now. I really do. That's always stuck with me. And I wrote my biography, which is called Thanks a Lot, Mr. Kibblewhite, because his name was Kibblewhite.
Yeah.
And it really is thanks a lot. And I really mean that. Because if he hadn't said that, I could have gone very wrong. Because a lot of my mates were in that, it was that period where robbing banks was very simple. It was really easy.
The good old days.
very. Well, there were so many guns around after the war. There were guns everywhere in London. People with guns and things. So people were getting hold of all kinds of instruments of violence, but they could intimidate, and you could walk in those days with a shotgun and blast a hole in the ceiling, and they just throw the money at you. So a lot of my friends, and they were friends, they were saying, "Come on, let's do that," and I was lucky. I just said, "No, I just want to be a singer. I just want to be in my band." I was happy doing what I did because it gave me everything that me personally needed. I didn't need to do that.
So your mum and your dad then, so you come home after being thrown out at 15, and did they just did they ignore you?
No, down Labour Exchange.
Right.
And by the end of the week I had a job. I signed up to be an electrician's mate, and I did 4 years of that apprenticeship. And it was very hard work because I was in the group at nights, and in those days we were probably working 5 to 6 days a week in pubs.
So who's in? What was the band
This
called?
is the start of the Who.
Right.
We were called the Detours.
Okay.
It was my band, and it was John Entwistle was in the band by then, and so I did that for 4 years, and then the group grew. Pete Townsend joined, and then after we found Keith Moon, I thought time to go professional because the chemistry felt right,
Wasn't it amazing? Because
it's really weird because it's a singer's thing, What people don't realise about rock singers is they never see the band. You're all back there, but what you do, which is more important to the musical side of it, all you ever do is hear them.
Yeah.
And you hear when it's right, and you hear when it's wrong. You hear everything, and you especially hear yourself when it's wrong. But what was so great about that period for me was that I was putting these guys together, and every time when Entwistle joined me, I thought, God, he's good. I've got to have him in. Yeah. Keep him, and then there were a few bass players. And then John introduced me to Pete. When Pete played the first day, I was like open-mouthed because he was playing chords that he just had it.
Yeah.
And then one day, this little kid turned up, and he looked like a kid. And he's bright ginger hair and a bright orange suit. And he said, "I hear you're looking for a drummer." Yeah. He said, "I want to play better than him," because we had a session guy sitting in. I said, "You want to go there?" And he played, and again, it was that thing, you don't see them. I didn't know what he looked like back there, but all I know is that what he did to the way we played and the energy that came off that stage.
Yeah.
And not only do you feel what's coming back from there, you see what it's doing to that lot out there.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it all changed. It was
it's kind of miraculous.
Kind of all the jiving and all that, and all of a sudden they all stopped, and they were like, it was mad. It's really weird.
It is a miracle of talent coming together.
It's just energy. That's all we really are, isn't it? Balls of energy.
Yeah.
And when the right ones meet, something wonderful gets created.
And is it with so many with such wild energy in a foursome, you can't control it. You can't.
You could never control the Who. That would be ridiculous.
But was it like stepping into madness every night?
It was the wonderful thing about it. Until there was only one period, and that was in late 1965 to 1966, where everyone was starting to get into amphetamine, Purple Hearts, and they were doing it. I tried it because we were doing some shows we were doing it at 2 o'clock in the morning. We were doing an early show from 8 o'clock in the evening to 11 at night, then driving an hour and a half, and then doing another show, a bit like your Irish show bands, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how we went around. And I tried doing amphetamine to keep me awake, because by then we were all like, oh, how do I get through this show? But all it does to a singer is dry them out, and you can't sing. All I wanted to be was a good singer. So I had to make a decision very early on. I either do this and keep up with them who were going, or I stay straight. And as it was, it's a good job I stayed straight, because they started taking the things every night and the music started to get chaotic. There was a certain amount of chaos that we kind of created when we were straight that was fabulous. Once the amphetamines kicked in, it was a load of shite. It was absolutely dreadful. And it got to the point
Now, would Pete remember it the same way?
No, probably not, because he was on them. He'd probably think he's having the best time of his life, as they do, you know. But again, because I could only hear it and I had to sing to it, it became impossible to sing to some nights. Songs became so fast you couldn't get the words in. You know, the 2.5 minute single became like 2 minutes. And it got to the point where we were on a tour and they played so badly. I had such a rough time out the front. I came back and I found a stash of the drugs, and I flushed them down the toilet, which led to a huge fight, an enormous fight, and they threw me out the band for a few months.
Did they get another singer?
They tried to, but they got booed off. So they asked me back, and I said, well, I'll come back if you lot promise me you won't do that before the show. I don't care what you do after the show. That's your business. But when we play straight, because this is a great band. We're creating something very special here. But you won't do it if you're on that stuff.
And they trusted that.
Well, they seemed to.
Yeah.
They were very good after that. They didn't take it till after. They made up for it after. And the only thing I had to do was promise not to fight anymore.
Fight them?
Fight them, yeah. Well, they attacked me after I flushed the stuff down the toilet. Keith Moon came at me with a tambourine. Now, that sounds very innocent, you know. Came at me with a tambourine. You imagine they're going to hit you on the head with the skin of a tambourine. Yeah. No, he came at me with the bells of a tambourine, the side bits.
Yeah, like a knuckle duster.
Whoa, no, Keith, he's a little bit out of order.
I kind of feel as if success is always beyond the individual, and it's not up to the person that they're successful. You do the work and you present it, and other people decide if they want it or not. So are you able to look back and go, that was a pivotal moment, that was a pivotal moment?
Oh, yeah, there's always, you get lucky, or you know, it's life kind of, it has its moments, but you have to have the downs. You can't be all uphill. I mean, look at Tommy. That was the film of Tommy. Yeah, we did Tommy the record, which was we publicised this rock opera. It was so pretentious, but it was a rock opera.
Yeah.
But equally, at the time, it was so difficult to kind of get people to take you seriously that it was a rock opera. Now it's considered a really great piece of work. Yeah. And the band by that time were playing so well. We were at our peak, absolute peak, you know, of creativity.
Can you just talk me through, say, playing around London and then playing around England? And is there a moment, say, for English crowds where you start to play to 2,000, 3,000? Is there a time where all your records have been played on the radio?
Yeah, there was. That was Tommy. Up until then we'd been a pop band doing hit singles. Okay. We'd had Can't Explain. We'd had Anyway, Anyhow, Anywhere. My Generation. But they were all 3-minute singles, and we were a pop band with a load of screaming girls down the front. You know, and the music was the last thing. We were kind of avant-garde, but not known for that. Cool, this is something bigger. This is something more serious. And then Tommy came along, and that changed overnight. I would say within 3 months, maybe 6 months of us playing, in the April when we rehearsed Tommy to go out on the road with it for the first time as a piece of music on stage, we were playing to students in their student halls. So what would that have been, 1,000 people? Okay. No more. By the August of the same year, we are playing the Isle of Wight with Bob Dylan and everything, and Woodstock to 500,000 people. So, and it was the weirdest period because I suddenly realised the power of music. But it doesn't change you. It's just wonderful to see it happening. You know.
So did you have good management back then?
We had very good management, very good creative management. Sadly, the drugs, the amphetamines that went on to more serious drugs and everything else, took hold of them, and most of the money we made went up their nose. And of course, we had Keith Moon in the band. Yeah. And he was an expensive drummer take on the road.
When did his personal joie de vivre become unworkable with?
Well, you see, what you have to remember, you know, in those days we were building an industry. We didn't know what we were doing. Yeah. We were just, and of course, you know, any kind of publicity is good publicity. And, you know, Keith started doing all these outrageous things, and the more he did them, the more publicity he got. So, and the more commercial, in a sense, we became. Yeah. The more people wanted to see us and see him.
What year did Keith die?
Keith died in 1978.
Okay.
32.
And
I might be wrong there. I think it was 78.
Can you remind me?
It's a long time ago.
Can you remind me how he died?
He was found dead on a drug that was given to him that was to stop him drinking. He was trying to clean himself up. He took rather too many of a drug that never should have really been prescribed to him. And it was incredibly sad for all of us.
Yeah.
But it made me, at the time, incredibly determined. I thought, well, Keith died. We can't be what we were, but the music that we've created can live on. And that became my drive then, to keep what the Who were and the music we created, most of which is still created with Keith Moon. And when we play now, it's not Keith Moon on the drums back there, but we've got Ringo's son, Zach Starkey, on the drums, who was introduced to the drum kit by Keith Moon, because Keith Moon used to babysit him. How he survived, I don't know. So
Keith Moon, that's a weird name for that's his autobiography
exactly,
title.
You know. But Zach he doesn't copy Keith Moon, but he's got a similar freedom in his flow. Yeah. Not like any other drummers.
Have you been good with money? Have you earned a lot?
I've earned a fortune, paid a fortune in tax. No, I never really want much. I don't have flash cars. I had them all. I had E-types, Aston Martins, Ferraris. Had them all. Suddenly realised, well, I don't need this. It doesn't do anything for me. Yeah. I bought a farm very early on, escaped from London because it was becoming very difficult to have a normal life where you weren't being pestered all the time. Fans.
Do you find it weird then sometimes to be, say, standing in a field in your Wellingtons and your...
Well, I don't wear Wellingtons. No, I can't wear Wellingtons. No.
Why do you not wear Wellingtons?
No, I like a good pair of boots, ankle boots, and with the spats.
You're standing in your Cuban heels in the middle of the farm.
We're winkle pickers, yeah, I know, yes. Good for lifting the cow patch.
Yeah, but the kind of the dynamic contrast then between, say, standing at a hedge on your farm on a Monday, looking and the wind is blowing and birds are chirping and things are growing all around you.
In Madison Square Garden the next day. Yeah, it's been like that.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, but life is amazing. It is amazing.
How many kids do you have?
How many do you want?
How many kids do you have?
I have 8 kids.
8?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I have 8 kids and 16 grandkids. And they're lovely.
Good
They're
man.
all lovely. Yeah, they're lovely kids.
But are you good at marriage? Are you good at fatherhood and grandfatherhood?
I try to be. I mean, what am I good at? Am I good? I've been married for over 50 years. I've been living with the girl for 54 years. I'm starting to like her. She's putting up with me. She says I've been married for 10. But I know, I love it. I've got very lucky, and I think it's the Irish in her.
Yeah.
She's a treasure, absolute treasure. She's one in a million. And my kids, like I say, every Sunday we're 10 people round a table for a Sunday dinner, and that's the value in life. That's where it really sits. It won't sit in your Ferrari outside.
It's been brilliant talking to you, Roger. Thanks.
You're right, mate.
Thanks for coming onto the show.
I'm so glad I got here.
Thank you.